Former President Trump is set to appear in a D.C. courtroom this afternoon. He faces 4 federal charges related to the special counsel Jack Smith's January 6th investigation. Former federal prosecutor Andrew McCarthy writing in a new op-ed, quote, Smith intends to try Trump for the Capitol riot, even though he has not been charged. Trump for the Capitol riot. Joining me now is former FBI Assistant Director and former FBI agent Chris Swecker. He's an attorney in Charlotte, North Carolina. Chris, it's great to see you. Thanks very much. What about that point made that Trump has not been charged in the January 6th riot, and yet Jack Smith is using that riot as fodder for these other charges?
Yeah, this is clearly a political indictment that takes a wrecking ball to the rule of law. And I don't say that lightly, Maria, but if you read these statutes here, especially 18 U.S.C. 371, which is a conspiracy to defraud the U.S. government, that is probably one of the broadest statutes in the U.S. Code. And it can be whatever you want it to be. It'll play to the worst political instincts of a jury. And Jack Smith knows that. And 5 of the 6 co-conspirators, unindicted, are attorneys. So now he's digging into the attorneys that Donald Trump hired to help him try to protest an election. This statute may be unconstitutional, in my opinion. I'll defer to the constitutional professors. But it is a very squishy statute. The elements are mainly speech and thoughts and what Trump thought and what he did. So it's going to be interesting to see whether he can get a fair trial in D.C. But this surely gets, if he gets convicted, it surely gets thrown out on appeal.
Well, I mean, look, the idea that the jury in D.C. is likely going to go for a conviction versus a jury in Florida, for example, is this what Jack Smith wanted? I mean, he wants a conviction, obviously, so he needed to come up with a trial that would originate in Washington, D.C.
Right, and he wants a speedy trial, too. He wants to get this out before the election run-up. And I mean, there's all kinds of things wrong with this indictment. I mean, if you are going to punish disinformation or political actions, then let's look at what the disinformation that caused the FBI to open up an illegal investigation and the misinformation and lies that went into the FISA. Right. I mean, that under this statute, I really think, and under the theories that Jack Smith is using, you could indict Hillary Clinton very easily for that, or the disinformation that was put out by the so-called intelligence community that that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. That's indictable under this statute, under Jack Smith's theories. I mean, you could go through a whole long list of things. You could indict half of Washington. Well, that's a great point. And, we've got no accountability whatsoever. Mike Baker, we know what went on with the Russia collusion story, and yet nobody has been held accountable for fraudulent FISA warrants pursued against innocent American citizens. And basically the whole world thinking that Trump colluded with Russia, that he was on defense the whole time of his presidency. Right. For years, right, essentially his credibility, the credibility of the election was under attack. And apparently the Democrats have such short-term memory that they don't recall spending years standing in front of cameras and providing lies about the Russian collusion. But, Chris, I'm just wondering if you have any thoughts regarding the, I guess, randomly selected judge who will be overseeing this situation in D.C.? Yeah, I don't think he's going to get a fair trial there. I mean, this judge has shown her propensity and her proclivities when it comes to anything related to January 6th. Right. I mean, you can hope that there's a juror in Washington, D.C. that, again, this is a political indictment. You're really playing to the political instincts and the political affiliations of the jury. They'll see what they want to see. Let's just hope that out of 12, you'll get 1 or 2 that will think fairly and objectively and vote that way. We don't know. We don't know. And let me just point out that Trump is also facing a potential indictment in Georgia. The Fulton County Sheriff says that they are ready if and when that happens. Watch this.
Unless someone tells me differently, we are following our normal practices. And so it doesn't matter your status. We have mugshots ready for you. So, Chris, I guess we'll just have to wait to see more evidence come out against the Biden family. And then as soon as that evidence comes out, they've got another one on the shelf ready to come out at Trump from Georgia. Yeah, that's the MO here. I mean, literally every time something has come out about Hunter Biden that's damning,
then the very next day, there's an indictment or a superseding indictment or a new indictment. And I'll tell you what, that Fulton County thing scares me because that is a kangaroo court going on down there. I mean, just like all the others are. And it reminds you of the Wild West, where every coward wants to take out the big gunslinger here, and Donald Trump is the gunslinger. They are afraid of him, but they want to do everything they can to take him out and be the person that took him out and get a notch in the belt.
Incredibly extraordinary times. Jump in here, Kaylee McGee.
Yeah, Chris, the statute that you mentioned earlier, this conspiracy to defraud the United States, when this has been interpreted in court, it's almost always been interpreted in regards to tax fraud or some sort of financial revelation. And of course, with the other charges that Jack Smith is charging Trump for, there are serious concerns about his interpretation of a civil rights violation and the chilling effect that this could have on free speech. So do you think that the courts would uphold this indictment if Trump were to appeal it?
No, I don't think so. And you raise a great point here. Most statutes to defraud involve doing something or saying something that causes someone a misrepresentation that causes them to lose money. In this case, it would be the government or property. In this case, this statute goes way beyond that. All the case law says, no, you don't need to defraud them out of property or money or anything pecuniary. It can be anything. It can be impairing the efficiency of the government, for gosh sakes. I mean, what is that? And if you take that theory, if you pursue that theory, half of Washington could get indicted, because people go put out misinformation or arguably disinformation all the time. And what you're thinking when you do that, you have to prove that I put out this disinformation, but I knew it was false. So how do you prove what I was thinking at the time? And I go back to also that 5 attorneys are unindicted co-conspirators. They could be indicted, and they're attorneys. This breaches the attorney-client privilege, number one, but it's really designed to send a message. One of them is probably Giuliani. One of them is probably Sidney Powell, and that takes a cudgel to. I mean, that has a chilling effect on attorneys and competent legal representation and pursuing your legal remedies in court.
Yeah, you're right. Chris, it's great to get your insights. Thanks so much.